Hello, all you heroes, villains, and innocent bystanders. Welcome to another episode of the Gentry Comic Book Club. Soon there will only be 2 members. It will be me and James only. Terry and Dal are on their way out to being murdered.
I wasn't in this awful conversation I was about to be a minute ago.
Thanks for joining us. We're going to be reviewing and going over, answering questions about the Sisterhood of Steel.
Yes, this was my pick.
Yeah, this was James's pick. And who was it by, James? Who was the company?
I gotta look it up. It was from Epic Comics. Many years ago. Spin off of Marvel, sort of their adult line at the time.
Their Vertigo line.
Avant-garde.
It was by Christy Marks and Mike Vosberg.
Vosberg went on to do a lot of other stuff. I want to say he worked with Kirby on some stuff.
When was it originally released? Do we know?
84.
So it's been a while. So it's an older book.
35 years ago.
Yeah, but it stood up pretty well. I mean, you could tell a little bit that it was of the time that it was in, but
I definitely I
felt a lot of the politics and stuff were pretty current.
Well, I was actually. Let's answer questions.
Okay.
We'll answer questions because if we started.
I want to ask questions.
Yeah. Well, because we're gonna get into it anyway. So,
what did you think of the pacing of the issues you read? I thought some of them were a little slow. I thought some were.
I thought the pacing was pretty good. It wasn't. A lot of modern books, they skip around and they gotta get right to the action. And this one built up, and there was still action along the way.
It was very linear. There was no it didn't jump back and forth. You understood what was going on. The plot line actually went really like da 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 da, and it wasn't. It was not hard to understand. But I think I kind of agree with Dal just a little bit to where there were a few books that I was just like, because there was only one. It was 1 through 8 that we read, but there was a few books that were just a little slower than others. And I mean, not that it was bad. It just definitely was. There were some books that were stronger than the others, and they stood out. I think it would be different. I think it would be different if we read this in back in the day when you had to wait for each issue. I think it would be a little bit different of a play, as we can read all 8 now.
I would have probably dropped it after the first or second issue.
Yeah, I definitely think it would have been. I would have probably made it 3 issues in and been like, But I'm glad I didn't.
Right.
Yeah. How about you, Terry?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I didn't think the pacing was bad. I felt that it ended at an appropriate stopping point for each book and came right back up with it. The same, just it linked together pretty well.
No, it is. I don't disagree with that. I don't think it flowed.
I mean,
but
some portions of the book may have been slower than another book, but I don't think as a whole that it slowed the pacing of the entire series down.
No, I agree. Yeah. All right, go ahead, Terry.
Pet the monkey.
Scoot the monkey brains out.
Let's see here. Have you read other comics by this author? Not that I can recall. I don't know. I mean, I may have.
Do we know what else she's done?
I was like, I don't think I have read anything by
You
them.
people with your iPads, look this up.
Hang on.
Yeah.
This may take a minute.
Yeah.
Next question.
But I don't think I've ever read anything by them.
I've seen other stuff by Mike Vosberg.
Yeah.
Art-wise.
Right.
Art-wise I have, but not as far as the writer.
Story-wise.
Right.
And I've read other books that Archie Goodwin has edited.
I'll go and then we'll
You're
stay
right,
back to
that's
James while James is looking. James is updating.
Trying to find out what other works they have done.
Yeah. Alright, so let's see. Do you think this was a pretty straightforward story, or was there a lot of metaphor or symbolism?
If we say there's not any symbolism, James
gives us a 4-hour
whoa.
6-hour monologue of how we were wrong. I thought it was a pretty straightforward story, but I do think there was a lot of political. What's the word I'm looking for? Political.
Undertones?
Yes, but it mirrored a lot of stuff. James was saying earlier before we started recording was, it was very kind of relevant almost to today, even though it was like several years ago.
But the defense versus, we need to reach out to these other cultures, or we need to defeat these other cultures. And a
lot of women, there was a lot of women empowering stuff in there. Like, it's like, so I don't think there was a lot of metaphor symbolism, but I think there was. I think
a lot of it
closer
kind
to
of
straightforward
harkens back to the Themyscira stuff in Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see this being like an island kind of that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they kind of were. They were kind of like the Amazon warriors kind of people, and but
so maybe it was a
little more severe, I think.
A what do you say? A soliloquy?
Yeah.
Soliloquy?
Soliloquy, James? Symbols of Wonder Woman.
Looks like all she did was Sisterhood of Steel. She did some Grief stories, a He-Man, and some Conan stuff. So,
so pretty probably.
So I was like, no, I've never read anything of hers.
I probably have read maybe some Conan or something that she wrote, but I don't know.
It was just a couple. So
Yeah,
it
it wasn't a whole lot.
Okay. Would this be a book you would have picked up prior to Comic Club? Well, I picked it, and so yes, but that would be more a question for the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
I think I picked it up in the dollar bin, so I think I may have it. And I think I may have started it, but I just don't.
I
never
I
finished
did
it.
try to get Jenny to read it, but her to read stack was just always too high. So.
I think she would have liked it though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
because
definitely.
of the female empowerment. And
Well, I
women's
definitely.
rights and-
Well, and like I mean,
Just
honestly, the
Badass
story.
women kicking ass.
Well, the story was just really good. Like it really. I'm trying not to say too much because I know there's a question in there. If we get it, I don't want to but I definitely feel like it would have made a good Game of Thrones-esque show. Like I feel like they could have done so much with this. As I think it would have actually made a better TV show than it would have a comic book.
Probably.
But I definitely liked a lot of the interactions and the the kind of like drama of some of it with the I thought
do I betray my friend or my oath? And
right. There was a lot. There was some really great stuff in there. So yeah.
Okay. Are you glad you read it?
Yeah, actually,
I enjoyed it.
Yes, I enjoyed it.
For me, I had seen it before when I worked at the shop full time and stuff and digging underneath, and I was pulling books and everything to refill, and I would see it and so I flipped through it. So I'd actually I think I'd grabbed some before, and I'd wonder how it was, and so.
And then some of you haven't read the graphic novel yet. Its tone changes the tone and the art changes, so it's different, but the same characters and stuff. So it's
now. Is it just a retelling of the 80s years, or is
it continues on?
Yeah, I enjoyed the storyline. So when it ended, I kind of wanted to know a little bit more. So I haven't got to that graphic novel, so I am glad there is a little bit more to be told. So I'm looking forward to
in
reading
the graphic novel. She joins the Daughters of Death, the secret assassin side, because that gal says she can save her from the one with the eye patch.
Right.
The scar.
Yeah.
I actually liked that it. I liked the ending. I thought they wrapped everything up. I liked that there wasn't anything left hanging. I would be happy if it ended where it ended.
Yeah.
So honestly, I don't really want to read the trade because I'm like
For
afraid
me,
that it's like not going to end well.
perfectly. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
you say.
Yeah.
This
And
is
the
just
trade-
a fan fiction of someone.
And the trade doesn't end.
See, and
It was like leading to a second trade that never happened.
See, and that's why I don't.
There are some
I don't know.
plot threads.
When I got done reading it, I felt there was still more to be told.
I felt like what? Like what would you say?
Like what? Yeah.
I just felt like there was some further growth of the main character that.
Well, I mean, like but that's any book you could do. But I mean, like I feel like they wrapped out the princess.
It's something
her
that
conflict.
I was interested in learning though.
Yeah,
We're still waiting for the growth of Batman.
but I I mean, I thought they ended up they finished the conflict with her with that other lady with the Princess of Swords.
I like the way
They
their
ended with
political structure worked.
I thought it was kind of neat too.
The Queen of Swords and the Princess and the Priestess and
she didn't. Kinda, she could have betrayed her vow she made to the.
Well, I mean, like I'm just talking about like ending the way it ended. Like they tied up everything. You know, they tied up what happened with her best friend that left. They tied up what happened with that whole like her if she's going to betray the
and then the princess was reaching for the throne and she reached too hard and they gave it to the redhead.
Right.
I thought that was
kind of
another metaphor.
Well, I think they all kind of knew what type of woman she was.
Yeah, what kind of
Princess of Swords.
Don't work hard and you
don't cross a redhead. Don't go up against a redhead.
Don't work hard. They'll give it to somebody else.
No. If you reach too hard, you can.
Or Icar that he flies up to the sun. He goes too high and it melts the glue or whatever that's holding his wings together and falls.
She got too excited. She thought she was a shoe-in.
What?
I'm gonna call you James Jr. pulling up the metaphor now. Jeez.
Kick the next question.
You haven't read
that. It's horrible.
You haven't read Homer.
Worst friends ever.
Worst friends ever.
Worst friends ever.
Homer. Buffy is great.
How original and unique was the premise of the book?
35 years ago, it was probably pretty unique.
I think that's the difference. Is like I feel
today it would just be another women empowerment story, but
another Game of Thrones.
35 years ago, that was.
I feel like this is almost a prequel Game of Thrones kind of that world and the way that they feel and
like
the way they do things.
It's nothing like that has never been done before because like with Wonder Woman, the Island of Women.
Yeah,
that's.
Now I liked how they refreshed their ranks by going out and getting girl orphans because people wanted boys instead. We'll take them.
Yeah, we'll do something with them.
So to a degree, they were kind of slaves. They were purchased. A lot of them were.
Yeah,
not all of them, but a lot of them.
Sense, yeah.
But they weren't free to leave.
They were not free to leave, no.
Because the one tried to leave, and you know how that turned out.
No, she was stuck. Yeah.
So it's really interesting though. It's sort of an oxymoron. While they're empowering, they're also slaves.
Yeah. Well, I think there
is there a metaphor there. Some symbolism.
Oh my god.
I think so.
When did the show go downhill? Like, when did we make that turn? Like, what day was it?
When we started it.
Day episode 1. We.
Will you continue to read this series? No.
Because it's no longer there.
Well, I would.
You read the trade after the trade. So.
If there was more, I would read it.
Yeah.
But there's not, so I won't.
I'll read the graphic novel, and I guess that's where I'll end it at.
I was like, that's what. Yeah. Well, that's your choice. Like, I'm the same way. I'll probably read the graphic novel at some point. It's not going to be something that's going to be really top of my list. But
see, I probably won't because, like I said, everything was all wrapped up with a nice bow, pretty much on it.
Yeah, but now I just want to know about it. Now I want to know more about the Sisters of Death because.
Well,
right, yes. The Sisters of Death were very interesting.
Yeah, but they didn't really show a lot of them. You know, they were just kind of like in the secret. What did you think about your stopping point in the series? So obviously we stopped at the end of the first series, and like I said, I still think that ending was really well. I would have been okay with no graphic novel because I feel like they told a story, they ended the story. There wasn't anything
who the new Queen of Thrones,
right?
Queen of Swords was. You know who the new.
Well, the reason she got it was because she handled the trial real well.
Right. But I mean, like, it wasn't left open ended. Like, you didn't know. There wasn't like to be continued. There wasn't like most of those stories were all told.
Actually, like I said before, I felt there was something, and I didn't know that there was this graphic novel. But after I got done reading, I'm like, I'm hoping there's more, and I had to actually go out and search, and it wasn't easy to find out about this graphic novel. There was not a lot of information out there about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I had to go to the wiki.
Well, again, 35 years.
Yeah. Did they, was it under the same imprint?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was straight to graphic novel. It wasn't, it didn't come out as books.
But I feel like Marvel did a lot of that
and
stuff.
it was more adult. There was nakedity and stuff.
Yeah, was it still Marvel? I thought it went to another company.
I think it was still Epic. Because Epic did more adulty stuff.
I could swear it was different, but...
Well, quit swearing. You're horrible at it.
Did you have a favorite character? Actually, yeah, I did. I mean, the main character was good. Yes, and she was obviously going to be everyone's favorite, probably. But actually, the leader of the Daughters of Death, I thought was just well, that and
the princess or the priestess of swords.
Priestess of Swords, and also the trainer when the main character goes on and becomes gets her rank.
Gillespie or
the one that looks like a man.
Yeah,
I had to double take. I'm like,
there were several of the women in there that looked like men.
Pretty man.
Well, I think that was kind of like the art, though, too. A lot of that art was very like.
But I think it wasn't just the art. I think they kind of made themselves a little bit more manly with their haircuts and stuff.
Probably.
Stand out in leadership.
But I thought she was pretty good.
When the Bronway and her sword mate went to the wrong bar.
Yeah,
I didn't think they were that way. We'll lead you to the.
We'll lead you to the right place. They went to the. Yeah, they went to the lesbian bar.
Yeah, but
that's awesome.
Because she's like, what's special about this person? I mean, there's nothing wrong with her. She's, does what she's supposed to do. Why is Verissa, or whatever her name is, afraid of her and all this, So
I like,
and she didn't betray Bronwyn. She's like, hey, she's nothing wrong with her. So
no, she did what she was told, and then she.
Well, are you talking about the priestess?
No, it's Gillespie.
Gillespie.
I liked her mentor, the one with the one arm.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite.
I liked her, and she wasn't in it much, but the redhead's big buddy that she charges into battle with her war axe. And
yes,
in the big fight.
They had some really. I think they had some really neat side characters that I would have liked to know more of their story. I did like that they finally told the story about how she lost her arm.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the things that for a while, for a couple books, I was like, well, I wonder what she was interesting enough.
And how she got her scar.
Yeah, that whole thing was really neat, and I'm glad they worked it into the story and actually told that, because a lot of times the side characters don't know how they got there, and they just kind of end up this way. But they did really. I have to agree with you. I like both of those. The commander with the one arm and then the Gillespie were both really great characters. Mm-hmm. Brahman was good, but I think that's just because that's who you mainly focused on anyway. So.
Well, and Gillespie, the princess of thought she had her in her pocket, and then she screwed her at the trial.
Mm-hmm. Right, but she stuck to her word to the Princess of Swords.
Yeah,
and she also stuck to herself.
But she also stuck it to her, because I don't like being manipulated.
Yeah, that was
is that a metaphor?
Oh my god!
Oh, you have to
turn is it?
It's Dal's.
I like that organization.
I just did that
more than anything. The death organization, the silent, or the I like
Daughters of Death.
Yeah, Daughters of Death.
Yeah.
Sorry, me or who is it?
I asked that one.
Down.
Oh, okay.
Or is it?
It's
yeah.
You're gonna need to focus, sir.
I'm trying. We need a counter.
What do you think of the artist of the book? Nice job, adequate job of it.
I think it was very average. I feel also it was very much of the style of the time too.
I was just going to say that it was the style of the time.
Yeah, because that time when they told this particular type of story that was more of a reality story, there was a more realistic art to it. I think, and a lot of stuff was very tried to be really realistic.
I thought its facials were pretty good, but I thought the tone of the book, the colors of the ocean and the desert and the mountain areas, they all kind of blended real well with the sea. And it was kind of muted in a way, some spots.
The whole book was, felt kind of muted.
All right. I feel like it was like, well, even like their uniforms, they were talked about. I can't remember if it was in the back or if they talked about it in the actual book where they were talking about
the coloring and the ranking is
right, like how the trim was different, and so like that I really didn't notice.
Well, I thought their armor was unique, that it was quilted, but then that inside of each of the quilt things, then they had the metal.
Yeah,
I was like, that'd be a cool way to make armor,
like a chainmail.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think the artist was good, but seeing some of the artists that I've seen now, like obviously 30 years later past that, I think there would have been some much better fits if they did it now. If they did the
I think
story
if they would have done it
nowadays.
now, they all would have been big boobed, blonde, model.
Or they'd have been,
looking,
or they'd have all been cartoony.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many
Styles
There
nowadays.
weren't that many styles back
Yeah.
then.
You did a Jack
There
Kirby. You had there was Jack Kirby style, and there was like something like this where it was very similar to where it was almost a realistic or George Perez.
Mhm.
But I thought it was really good. I mean, like it fit the book. I like that it was all 8 issues of the same artist. I really like that because once you got used to the way somebody looked, they looked that way all the way through, and that was really neat. And
You
like,
didn't have a lot of books with lots of characters. I have trouble telling the various characters apart, and they made them all different enough that I never really had trouble. Okay, who's this person? Who's that? No, I
That's a
knew.
Luna Brother book
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and where all their
Is this-
faces look different.
Yeah.
Like all their haircuts were different. I thought they did really well.
And build different. A lot of people make
Ethnicities.
all women look the same, and they all
Yeah,
had different
different
builds. There
Yeah.
was athletic ones and slight ones and big ones and
Yep. And they even like the backgrounds when they had the multiple people, they were all kind of different.
Mhm.
There was that one African American girl that had the afro that she was always kind of fighting with, and there was another one.
But that
I mean,
became
like,
her sword mate
yeah,
after the one ran off, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
but only for a little bit. That was really
Yeah, for a
quick.
little while.
But I mean, like they did really. I really liked it. Yeah.
Their second
I
sword
thought
mate
the art
was
was.
crazy.
I was joking about the flowing of the colors.
Well, no, I mean, but like I get it. Like you actually weren't half off wrong there.
does it feel current?
Well,
Surprisingly, yes.
Yeah, I.
For a 35-year-old book, it
It holds
does
up pretty well.
actually feel pretty
especially
current.
in the Me Too movement and in that kind of movement now.
Yeah,
The don't make that face.
female
My nose
empowerment.
itched.
Oh, okay. I thought you
I
were
mean,
making
there was-
really?
There were small portions here and there where you could tell the age of it.
Yes.
But as a whole, it flowed and
It
worked
aged
really
well. There have been a lot of books that I've read that have not aged well.
Yeah,
I think
I think this one aged well.
I think in like a women's studies group, this book would be,
Well, not even just
you look
women.
at it
I think
and
like the feel of the book was where it's kind of like magic-y esque, but not really.
But there's no-
there's a
but there's no-
reality.
Actual magic.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't
But
see
it has like that
magic.
secret society with the plants and poisons and
It's
like
definitely the sword and
stuff.
sorcery.
And like her when she possesses her
I guess there is a
but,
slight
yeah.
bit of magic, but
it's not like magic, like outright like throwing lightning or electricity.
but
from your
knowing
hands
that
or-
my buddy's in trouble. Or,
more spiritual kind of feelings.
Sort of a cult
But they
type.
yeah, it kind of it very is and like cultish, religious almost.
Mhm.
But I mean, like I feel like I said earlier, the Game of Thrones kind of reference. I feel like that's a lot of that stuff is very current with like the Vikings show and Game of Thrones. That very like kind of
The
medieval, but not quite old medieval stuff. That's kind of
Yeah.
So I think it is. I think it is.
Well, and
actually
in
pretty
fact,
current.
in the 80s, a female
driven book.
hero book, the only thing you had was like Red Sonja with the chainmail bikini. The fact that they weren't running around in their
And there really was.
thongs and stuff that was kind of modern for that time.
And this one, I didn't think or at least I can't recall
It wasn't
excessive
super
nudity.
cheesecakey.
No, I don't think there was a lot of nudity. Or
Cheesecake at all.
when there was nudity, it was like
It fit what was going on.
yeah, it wasn't like she was just running around naked for no reason. Like it was there was
There
some
was like a
reason or-
gratuitous shower in the scene of
Right.
under the waterfall and the water cascading off her boobs. Like we
exactly.
have now.
Yeah. It wasn't like unnecessary.
Well, and there were, some of them were lesbians, but they weren't. There weren't any lipstick lesbians or
Nope. They were
just-
they were just into women. Straight up.
Well,
into
they're
it.
surrounded by women all their lives.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
There again, it's the mascara stuff. So
Right.
Do you think the title fit the book well? If so, why or why not? I thought it was really good. Like it wasn't. It was not what I.
I told you really what it was about, the Sisterhood of Steel, and that's what it was.
Yes, but it wasn't like when I first saw Sisterhood of Steel. I really didn't think. My mind didn't go to this kind of world. My mind went to a little bit different place. But I thought this one, after reading the book and then having the title, it does fit really well. Like
especially the sisterhood portion, because it's sort of these are your sisters and how you are
you have to
bonded to them, and
and this is the only family you're gonna know because whatever reasons.
Yeah, either your family's gone or your family gave you up. This is your new family, and
or a few of them did get pregnant, and they would, if they had a girl, they'd raise them. If they had a boy, they'd trade them for girls. And
so actually, it's kind of like the reverse China thing, up until recently. I say recently, probably in the last few years. You only had one child. If you had a girl, you got rid of it.
Yeah, because you wanted a boy to carry on the line.
Right.
Well, you also wanted a boy because they would be able to
support you in your old age.
Right. Work on the farm, the land, or whatever trade you were.
Take over. Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was really close. I thought the title was really good. So, all right, one more round, or are we good?
I think one more round.
One more.
Okay, one more round, boys.
We may even do 2 rounds. Okay, I'm not going to get crazy.
Just read the damn question, Dal.
Now, see, this question I think just doesn't work because we all know it. What genre do you think this comic fits into?
Well, I mean, I think it's definitely
in a way. I think
it's definitely
fiction. Definitely.
But it's definitely for the people that want sword and sorcery type thing. So.
Yeah, like a Conan. But I mean,
it wasn't like just fantasy.
Well, I wouldn't even go fantasy, because it really was that portion of the book was very minimal. Right. So if you're a fantasy like a Dungeons and Dragons, I don't think that's going to quite be that.
This could also go to people that are more interested in a military-esque
drama. I think there's a lot of drama and suspense-ish, like between the characters.
Historical,
some political.
Yeah. So I think it fits into a couple of genres, but they're not like the main ones. They're not like superheroes or
superhero genre.
Yeah. And I think even like a Conan book, I don't even think saying a Conan book would be close, because Conan does tend to lead more towards the fantasy with the sorcerers and the monsters and the outrageousness, and this is more realistic. And so like a more realistic, reality-based political drama.
Okay, your turn.
But with swords.
But with swords.
And sorcery.
Yeah. No, not sorcery.
Well, the cult, religion...
It's very minimal.
Probably had a little bit of sorcery going on.
Probably maybe
I don't think so.
But they did it.
We won't do it. No, you won't know until you read the graphic novel. Once you read the graphic novel, you'll know if there's some sorcery or not.
Okay.
There's no sorcery.
Lots of metaphors, but no sorcery.
No sorcery.
This is kind of an answer. Do you think this could make a good movie or TV show?
Yeah, we already answered that.
Yeah.
Pick another.
Pick another one.
Touch the monkey again.
Poke the monkey. Not the monkey.
Is there anything left unresolved you would like to know the outcome of? Well, I think we kind of answered that one too. I mean, I felt there was more that I wanted to learn about the character and some of the society and.
But was there anything specific as far as like? I mean, obviously you wanted to know where the character was going to go because you would like just more of her story. But was there something specific that you were like, well, I really wish I would have known what happened to that black green belted sword that she had? Like. I mean, is there like one plot thread that you can think of that they didn't answer?
Well, I definitely want to know more about the secret society. So.
Yeah, that would be really. I agree. That would be one.
Because you only got a hint of
what they were into
what they're doing. Yeah.
Because
it's secret.
Yeah. Nobody knows. Nobody can write a book about that.
Did the art work for or against the book? I thought it worked for.
Yeah, we kind of discussed that one.
Yeah.
Cast a large cast of people and
what's the difference?
Tell them all apart. If they made a movie or TV show, who would make a good cast?
Ooh.
Ernest Borgnine.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't keep up with all the actors and actresses.
For Gelonius or whatever her name was.
You'd.
Actually, I think an unknown would be really good as Bronwyn. Like you would have to find,
Well, an unknown could also
Glenn Close could play the Queen of Swords.
If their acting is good, but they're sort of new to it, because Bronway was sort of new to everything as well.
Yeah.
Fit.
Yeah, and there, I mean, like, I don't feel like there's anybody that specifically, like, I could think of that would fit into a lot of these characters. Oh, goodness gracious. She was in Penny Dreadful. She was the psychiatrist the last season.
Eva Green?
No. Although Eva Green would be good in this. She would be great in this type of show.
There's a lot of older actors, like the Priestess of Swords, the Queen of Swords, the older...
Is it Maggie Smith? That played Professor Donegal?
Yeah.
I think she'd be really good as
The Priestess of
Priestess
Swords.
of Swords, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, in that almost typecast.
What's her name? She's a famous singer. She's a famous Broadway person. Can I think of her name?
I don't know.
Penny Dreadful.
Yeah, she did Penny Dreadful, but she was a psychiatrist at the very last season. She went in, she was trying to help her, and, like, she would...
Because Eva Green was in Penny Dreadful.
Eva Green was Penny Dreadful. Wasn't she?
I've never seen it.
Vanessa Ives.
Lynn Redgrave?
No. Who's that?
Patty LuPone.
Yes, Patty LuPone. She would be a good Gillespie, or her mentor with the no arm.
Oh, the gal from Castle, Stanya Kachik, would make a good the Princess of Swords.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because she looks kind of badass, but she's pretty, but she's badass. And she could. I think she could do the grim. I
don't know.
I'm
I think
all
someone
pissed
better
off.
would be. Oh God, I just blanked on her name now. I had it 5 seconds ago.
Did you ever watch?
Who played Red Sonja?
I could see her. She was in Beverly Hills Cop, and
Bridget Nielsen.
Bridget Nielsen, yes.
She's too old now.
I just watched
she'd be a good Gillespie.
the Bumblebee movie, and the main
Oh,
character in
yeah.
her, I think, would be a good
The gal from True
Bronwyn.
Grit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like her. She's good.
She seems right now, maybe she's still a little too younger, but maybe in a couple of years, I think she'd be a good Bronwyn.
Well, because she was pretty young, though.
she's supposed to be 17.
Yeah.
In the comic.
Yeah, she'd
But
be
she's
good.
Yeah.
And her star is definitely rising.
And she even kind of looks sort of that part already.
Yeah.
Who was the girl? She was in The Craft. She was the main one in Craft, and she was also in the Mentalist. She was the detective. You know who I'm talking about, right? She would make a good. What was this? Her swordmates. The one that's kind of bubbly and fun and kind of.
That one that got
Robin Tooney.
Yeah.
one that left,
Yeah.
had a baby.
So yeah, they would have. I bet they could make a really good cast out of these. Because it definitely has some older actors and some younger actors and. Thank you.
Or just get nobodies. Get like some college films.
Yeah, but a lot of times to bring a show, people always want
sort of
some, yeah.
Throne. I mean, Game of Thrones has a lot of people we didn't see a whole lot of.
Did you learn anything from the series about the author, artist, or any of the situations? I actually didn't learn like anything specific, but I did feel like this definitely opened my eyes to a different type of genre book. This was not my genre that I would pick ever. I don't think this is. Not that I think strong female characters are definitely something that I enjoy, but I wouldn't pick something about like it just wouldn't have been my thing because I'm more of a superhero book or a fantasy book or something. I like the magic part, but this is actually one of the few ones that didn't have that kind of aspect for me, and I actually still did enjoy. So I don't know. I didn't learn anything though. It wasn't like, oh, I learned my vocabulary words or.
We learn metaphors.
We did.
That was
We learned that. We learned that.
We learn it every week, every month.
Every month. What about you, Dow? Did you learn anything?
No.
No.
I liked it. I mean, I learned, but I mean, I've read some Conans. I've read. You know.
I also learned that Marvel had an adult line, which I didn't know about. But
Well, that's where they did Gru too for a while. So.
I knew Gru, but I never. I was still like into superheroes because I was still young and I was depending on my parents' income to feed into my comic book stuff. So like my books were very limited when I was young.
They were all off the rack of 7-Eleven.
Yeah, exactly. They were all.
They didn't put a lot of epics there on the rack.
No, they were at a drugstore
direct,
right.
direct market, I believe. So yeah.
So yeah, I never really knew any of this stuff existed.
Would
What
you
about
like
you, Terry?
Terry?
No, I don't think
Did
I
you learn
learned
your
anything.
colors?
I enjoyed it. So
Your colors, so you can figure out what rank they were.
yeah, I did. They had a whole thing about the rankings system.
They did. I
Yeah,
really
you did.
the back story or the back little writings were actually really fun to read. Some of them.
And they even have pronunciation of all the names, and I still
Oh
couldn't.
my gosh! Yeah, they got you can't. How do you say your name?
I've read it, but I still don't get it.
It was kind of interesting. I'm curious to see where that came from.
Exactly.
James, did you learn anything? You're already smart, but
Is he though?
some days.
Damn. I learned who my real friends are.
Yeah, just now.
I stayed away from that question.
Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, it was a good pick. I actually enjoyed it. Like I said, a little bit slower than what I normally am, but still really good. I enjoyed it. Any final thoughts?
It was better than Uber. I give it 4 stars.
Good.
It was better than Transmetropolitan. I give it 4 stars.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah, I'd say about 4 out of a solid 4, if not 4.5, because it was actually pretty good.
It had a beginning, a middle, and an end.
And I definitely think, like I said earlier, like if it wasn't all for all 8 issues being out, I think I would have probably dropped it. But because all 8 issues were out, and I was able to read
like
consecutively,
all 8 issues did come out. So many books get canceled right before the end.
Right, exactly. They had
hate
a
that.
finishing, and so
or they go on too long. This was kind of the.
No, they did well. Like they didn't, and they had plenty of story in there. They had plenty of drama. They had a really great cast of characters in there. They introduced them well. The dialogue was good. That was probably one thing that I had a hard time with, though. Sometimes it was very slow to read because there was so much to read.
That's the way it used to be, though. I mean, there was a lot more dialogue.
But I feel like when you have a book that is like X-Men or any of the big, Justice League, any of the big books.
There used to be more dialogue.
You don't have to have that much dialogue because these are characters that have been around for so long. People know who they are.
Well, and
the dialogue in the 80s, there was a lot more.
70s, 80s, yeah.
Well, those word boxes were always there.
And then talking about Doctor Strange from the 70s by Roy Thomas that wrote him. Yeah, you have a lot of dialogue, a lot of exposition, a lot, and it's just like, oh my, they're great books. They're beautiful.
Well, I felt since they were doing this miniseries, they had a lot that they needed to get said and get done within it, so there was a little
I didn't
more.
feel like that was one thing that like sometimes I feel like some of the books currently that have like I call it the wall of words or Jenny calls it the wall of words, and when they have that there, it's hard to get past because a lot of it is not relevant. You don't need to describe the scene that I'm reading, like your art and your.
It's a comic book. There's pictures too.
Right. You should be able to.
You don't have to describe what the castle
this,
looks like. There's a picture of it right here.
Well,
and I feel like this
King's,
is not.
Mr. Miracle, I thought was just, oh my god, so wordy.
It did like
it was so.
We will. That's something else that we'll have to get into.
All the text in this and. This
was necessary
for the story.
Yes, and it actually expanded on it and made it even more a robust world. I definitely didn't. It was a lot to read, but it wasn't. I didn't feel like after I got done reading it, I was like, they didn't need to put any of that in there. Like I felt like it was actually added to it.
Right.
You understood it. It flowed well. The writer was really well talented in his dialogue. So yeah, they did.
One thing, the one character, there was a character I didn't like, and I'm not even sure if that character in that particular situation was needed for this book, was Bronwyn's love interest.
Yeah. I think they could have done more with him maybe at some point, but I actually think that lend itself to how the Sisterhood was. Like, I think that kind of...
And the reveal that he was the son of the evil...
Right.
The nemesis.
Well, he was the second son.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Second
I
son,
think.
yes.
And so he was just like, you're like a bastard.
that is one
You know.
plot
Kind of
thread
thing.
that they didn't.
feed into.
Didn't really
they
flesh
didn't.
out.
Yeah,
But they didn't
That-
really feed into it after. Like they
No.
were done with it, and they didn't meet, and then they were done with it. They didn't
Mhm.
I don't feel like they didn't have an ending. It just didn't feel like. I feel like they could have done more with it.
The only thing I think is they could have had this as something if it had continued on to another miniseries or in this graphic novel. I don't know since I read
Brought
that.
him back.
Yeah.
Furthered that storyline. I
have
don't know.
either have that bite her in the ass or he saves her because
Right.
Right.
I would have liked those two factions to gone to war. The warrior, the women, and then that whatever that pirate faction they were kind of doing. And I would have liked to. I mean, there's tons of things that I could think of that could have expanded it more, but with what they did. So I still, I
doing the
think
8 issues.
4 out of 5.
Yeah,
is
right,
4 out of
right.
5 stars. Really, really good. It was worth the read. I
Holy
was.
crap! I think we all
glad
agreed
we
that we
picked.
liked it.
I know we
That's a
did.
first.
Yay!
Man, good pick, James. Good
Good job, James.
You get a gold star.
All right, so now we get to pick our next book, which is going to be Terry's pick.
Well, I was thinking about some more Uber.
Ooh, God. So again, Terry and Dal will no longer be part of the group.
and Terry kills, but
We will be all
No.
Those words.
This is a book I was hoping Jenny would get around to reading, but she, like her stack was already so large, she never got around to reading it. But I wanted to pick out this book. I've read a little bit of it. I haven't read every issue, but I'm almost done with it. And it's called Sink. It's by Comics Tribe, and it's a little bit of an anthology, but it has pieces that
connect
to
later
it,
on.
and it's also something that
This is about the psychological killers.
this is
evil
this
clowns.
is this is
Evil
a
clowns. Yeah.
more of a horror thing,
Realize
which
that-
is something
Okay.
I like. So.
I don't
Okay.
like clowns.
I'm
right?
interested.
evil
And it's
clowns.
called Sink, S-I-N-K.
Yes, it has a
Or-
band full of evil clowns.
Oh, well, I may not be as
Exactly. There we go. Alan doesn't
You
like
guys were
clowns.
joking.
But-
Alan doesn't like- I don't like clowns either.
They're actual evil clowns.
So, 2 of us don't like your book, so pick another one.
That's my pick. You gotta give it a shot.
Uber Part 2.
First trade. First trade is there a trade or?
I don't know if they've done a trade. I'll have to get back with you and let you know exactly what all they've done so far.
I will look it up.
So
Yeah, we'll have to figure out how many issues we're gonna do.
yeah, I can't remember if they've done 8 issues.
Are you
or
excited,
so.
Alan?
No, I'm not. This does not excite me at all.
That's okay. I was really
Well,
excited to find
the
out what he
clowns-
said, and then
the
he
clowns
did
are
sing,
not-
and it's just my level went right to there.
In it all the time.
I was excited about the
Very good
horror
stories.
genre because I don't really
So Sink, there's only been
Like I said, it's an anthology,
5
sort of.
issues? Yeah, but that's going to be kind of hard.
only
It's
8
only
issues
anthologies,
have even come out. Well, the
Only
8th
8 issues.
But it has stuff that
the
carries
8th
throughout
issue
each
was
one, too.
supposed to come out this
Okay.
last week. I don't know if it
Okay,
did.
so let's do first 6.
Sure.
Sure.
Since it's an anthology, it's really not going to matter if we end it or
It's an
wait.
anthology with bits and pieces that carry
Carry
through.
on.
yeah.
Okay, so let's try the first 6.
So 7 came out in January. I said 8 was supposed to come out
So let's do the first 7.
last Wednesday, but I didn't see it on any list.
Because that would be a
So-
trade.
And then
Normally a trade is
9
6,
comes
but-
out in April and 10 comes out in June.
Yeah.
Alright, so we will be reading Sink.
We're going to
First 6
that level.
issues, 1 through
Comics
6.
Tribe.
For Terry's pick, so we can trash that next month. Yay.
Killer clowns in a blue van, shovel-wielding
Oh,
fox
God.
mask vigilantes, and the last bus you'd ever want to ride.
This sounds horrible.
Oh, there is a Sink Volume 1 trade paperback. That
That goes through what?
Please
it
hold.
doesn't say what it covers.
I'm sure it's 1 through 6.
Probably
It's usually 1 through
more like
6.
Yeah.
Especially if 8's not even out, they wouldn't do,
Right.
So, yeah, they probably got 1 through 6. But anyways, so we'll do the first trade, or whatever the equivalent of that will be. Oh, God. So, join us next month for Sink. And if you get a chance, pick up Sisterhood of Steel, whether you can download it or if you can find it in the back issue bins. I think it. Actually,
I saw several things in quarter boxes and
Fine,
dollar
quarter
boxes at the con this
dollar
weekend.
boxes.
I think it would be worth, and I would collect it. I think I wouldn't mind if I saw it. I would definitely get the books. They were really interesting. They were really good, and
It has been put out in the collected edition, hasn't it? I want to say that it has.
Well, either way.
Sure, maybe.
Either way, you can get your hands on it. Please do it. It's a good book. It's worth it. Obviously, we don't ever agree, so the fact that we actually do agree is a big recommendation for it. But until then, we will read Sync 1 through 6, and we will see you all next month. Any last things?
Nope.
Oh, if you get a chance, check out Comic Book Straight Talk.
Yes.
They could always use the like, shares, and subscribes, as well as for us. We would love to have like, shares, and subscribes and start a conversation. If you get a chance, turn on the bell notification so you can be notified when we activate a new video. We do this once a month, and then I have me and James and some other people, some little side chicks. We all have another show that if you get a chance and you'd like to watch. So until then...
Well, what's the show?
Huh?
What's the show?
They'll know here in a little bit, because as soon as they watch this video, they're going to watch my next one. I just know it. I just feel it. I feel it in my bones.
From AAHU Networks.
Yeah, AAHU. An Angel and a Unicorn comic book reviews.
Yeah.
Yes. So, thank you for watching. Until then, I hope your pull list is full.
Bye.
Bye.